There were punches, there were tears, and there was a dramatic walkout. A 46 seconds long bout between Algerian boxer Imane Khelif and Italian opponent Angela Carini has triggered a massive gender debate at the Paris Olympics. A boxing round typically lasts 3 minutes and there are 3 rounds in all. But Khelif landed 2 strong punches, knocking out Carini in just 46 seconds. The Italian boxer was unable to stand after her nose was hit and began bleeding. Carini collapsed on her knees and sobbed in the middle of the ring after the defeat and did not shake hands with Khelif. The controversy revolves around 25-year-old Imane Khelif. She made her boxing debut as a professional in the 2018 World Championships and competed in the 2021 Tokyo Olympics. But she did not have a breakthrough till the 2022 African Championships, where she won 2 gold medals. Khelif was barred from competing in the 2023 World Boxing Championships in Delhi. The president of the International Boxing Association, Umar Kremliv, said, "Based on DNA tests, we identified a number of athletes who tried to trick their colleagues into posing as women. According to the results of the tests, it was proved that they have XY chromosomes. Such athletes were excluded from competition." The Algerian media said Khelif was disqualified for high testosterone levels. Nonetheless, Khelif made it to the Paris Games. The International Olympic Committee spokesperson Mark Adams said that since Khelif's passport has female written on it, she's competing in the women's category in the 66 kg division. After the 46 seconds bout with Carini, Khelif is being criticized by many people. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni met Carini and said athletes who have male genetic characteristics should not be admitted to women's competitions. Harry Potter author J.K. Rowling posted a picture of Carini and Khelif with the caption, "Could any picture sum up our new men's rights movements any better?" Riley Gaines, a 12-time All-American and former collegiate swimmer who describes herself as a leader defending women's single-sex spaces, posted, "Men don't belong in women's sports." Khelif is not the only controversial boxer taking part in the Paris Olympics. Taiwan's Ling Yuting was also disqualified from the 2020 Athletes, has taken center stage in the US presidential elections as well. The White House and Kamala Harris's campaign are silent on whether they support the inclusion of biologically male, intersex or transgender athletes competing against biological females. But Trump's campaign is sensing an opportunity here. Posting a clip of the match on Truth Social, Trump vowed to keep men out of women's sports. Trump's running mate J.D. Vance said this is where Kamala Harris's ideas about gender lead. GOP Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene said Democrats support men competing against women. Former US presidential candidate Vivek Ramaswamy said, "Ask Kamala Harris for her position on biological men competing in women's sports." If elected, Kamala Harris is expected to...
Covering is the growing controversy over the Algerian boxer Imane Khelif. She is through to the quarter-finals of the women's 66 kilo category after her opponent, Italy's Angela Carini, abandoned the bout in 46 seconds. She took just 1 punch to the face and then walked to her corner where she was heard saying, "It's not right." The Italian boxer was in tears after the match. She told reporters it was the hardest punch she'd ever taken and that she had stopped the fight to preserve her life. Well, Khelif is one of 2 athletes who was cleared to compete in Paris despite being disqualified from last year's World Boxing Championships for failing to pass a gender eligibility test. Well, in the past hour, a spokesperson for the IOC has been speaking about this situation.
It's quite a serious case. There's an awful lot of abuse going on online, an awful lot of misinformed abuse going on online. And yes, we are in very close contact with the athletes and their entourages. But the IOC, I think, is always trying to do a balance between inclusivity and fairness, to put it more broadly, also safety. And that is a difficult one and something that we'll have to look at. But that's a entirely separate question to what's going on here, which is a woman boxer being stigmatised and forced out of potentially forced out of a competition. I think that's a different issue. But in general, in terms of safety of the athletes, we're never tired of saying is our number one concern. The athletes are at the centre, so obviously we need to look after them. We need to make sure that they're safe. And there are all sorts of safeguards, particularly in the combat sports, particularly in boxing, to make sure that that remains the case.
Thoughts on the boxing match yesterday between Italy and Algeria? It's being billed as very controversial, over in 46 seconds. Angela Carini said she had to preserve her life, that's why she stopped the match, and Italian's PM Giorgia Meloni said it wasn't an even contest. What do you think about that?
Well, it was an incredibly uncomfortable watch for the 46 seconds that it lasted, and I know that there's a lot of concern about women competitors, about whether we're getting the balance right in not just boxing but other sports as well. The decision that successive governments have made is that these are complex decisions that should be made by sporting bodies. In this case, for example, I understand that the biological facts are far more complicated than is being presented on social media and in some of the speculation. But I think as sporting bodies try to get that balance between inclusion, fairness and safety, there is a role for government to make sure that they've got the guidance and the framework and the support to make those decisions correctly. And it's something that I'll be talking to sporting bodies about over the coming weeks and months.